This video is sponsored by Deep Cut Studios. For a wide range of fantastic gaming resources such as battle mats, dice trays and pre-painted bases, check out the description below.
Hi guys and welcome back to TNG Productions. My name is Tom and we're back with another skirmish solo play with Brutality by Scott Wainwright. And if you remember in the last game, we were very lucky with the Oathsworn that we managed to evade a bandit ambush. Now today's game is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be the ones doing the ambushing. We're the ambushers, not the ambushee. Is that how it works? And we're going to be using some features from the bestiary, which has some more meaty profiles for me to go up against. So I'll introduce you to the crew, set up the board and we'll get going. And these are the crews that will be representing today's battle reports. As last time, we have my wonderful Oathsworn that are led by Furnace, who's leveled up a fair few times now. He's an absolute beast in combat, being able to do burning damage as well. He's accompanied by the guy with the big shield, Anvil, who's an absolute tank. He's got an insanity point because he did die last game and he's not feeling great about dying and respawning a lot. Both of them are just your standard melee bruisers. They can do arm damage, as can Alloy, who's the one at the front, who's super fast ninja. Cinder can do it at range with her crossbow, and then we've got Hearth, who is a support piece who can cast Protect, give people extra saves, and also a little bit of incidental healing. Now their enemies for this game, I have added up equal to the total points that I am worth, which I think is about like 6 or 9 or so, but I've taken them from the bestiary, which actually comes with a gauntlet mode, so it's got a really cool kind of like wave function single player mode. But these are some bandits, you can see there are 5 of them, and a greater demon. I don't know how well this is going to go. They're just amazingly good. The bandits can like nick stuff off you in combat, and the demon has got like stats that go up to like 7 for like willpower and dexterity. It's not to be messed with, and it can kind of burn you or poison you when you go into base contact. So my whole narrative here is we're going to be attempting to free the wonderful girl Cast over here. She is being captured. They're doing rituals to try and gain Ishtar's favor, knowing that if they kill her, she'll just respawn in this captured base every single day. And our job is to try and get in, get her, and get out before we can raise too many alarms. So I'll set up the board and we'll get started. And here we go, all set up for today's Thief in the Night scenario. Now this is usually designed for you to kind of rob enemy bases, but as you can see, we're attempting to rescue our old mate Cast, who has been abducted by this horrible band of bandits and this greater demon, both of which are from the bestiary and are a lot tougher than the last list. So yeah, we're going to try and see if we can search/grab her back, and she's accompanied, as you can see, by 4 other treasure tokens. Now these are just looting points. They're worth a VP for us, just as is killing, because we're the attackers. However, the defenders don't care about these. They've already got them, so their primary aim is to kill us, and that is worth 3 VP for them. So we're going to add in a few things for this game that we didn't use last time. First of which we're going to use is the command token. So as long as Furnace is on the board, he is able to issue a free order to people to use in their activation once per round, but it means we can do something that we wouldn't normally be able to do, but we just can't repeat actions. So we can't attack twice, but we could kind of like move, search, attack with that bonus that goes in, which is going to be really handy. The second is our kind of faction teamwork ability, which gives us a buff to our save if allies are within 4 inches, and I believe there's some feats that we can use once per game as well if things get really, really dire. On top of that, the scenario asks us to look for special NPC traits. Because I'm playing on my own, I wanted to make this nice and simple, so rather than rolling for it, I've given all of them the durable traits. So basically every NPC is on +1 HP. So I think that brings like the bandits to like 4 HP, and I think the demon's on 6, which is going to be hard to take down. You know, Anvil's luckily used his Vanguard ability, and I think he might be the one who gets thrown into it at turn 1. The only other thing we needed to do was to roll what the random scenario event was for this turn, and we got kind of swirling energies, I think it's called, which basically means our willpower rolls succeed on a 1 to 9 regardless of our willpower roll, which is our willpower stat, and to be fair, it's only Hearth who's going to be using that, and it's mainly for my benefit. So better than the bad things that could happen, but nothing amazing. In terms of where we are fighting in the Twilight Fields. 1s don't really do much in this scenario because we're just looting, but the 10 is pretty horrendous. The 10 can basically summon spectral knights who just come as a wave across the board and wipe out anyone who's near them. So let's just hope we don't get that. As always, I'm the player with priority because I'm attacking, so we'll get into it with round 1. Okay, we're going to start off with the wonderful Alloy, and if you remember, he is our super speedy fast runner, so he is going to go first. He's got a move of 10 inches, so he's going to loop himself around here, just the extremity of 2, so he can attempt to charge. I'm not quite in the rear arc, so I'm not going to get a massive bonus, but basically, hopefully anything other than a 1 will get us in. We get a 6, brilliant. So we will charge into this guy here. And despite the fact that these bandits are all the range variant from the Beast Street, they're actually quite good at fighting. They're fight skill 6. So Alloy's got 1 attack, but he's charging in, so he gets 2. This bandit has 1. Alloy is fight skill 7. This guy's fight skill 6. We'll see how we do. Oh, okay. So on this dice, a Skull and Crossbones is a 10, so that is a critical fail by the bandit. Alloy himself has got a critical fail. But we have got a success with a 2+ there. So what this bandit needs to do is try and see if he can save from that. Now they have an armor rating of 3. So let's see what their save can be. This guy gets a 9, so he fails. So he will take a wound. So that is 1 of his 4 HP diminished. And obviously we have to see if we can roll a injury for him. So let's see what we get. From our piercing weapon, we get a 1, which is going to be nothing. So Alloy has chipped a point of damage off that guy there. So after being pushed back, this guy is not happy. He's going to try and put this crossbow to use. These guys are move of 6. He's going to move far away from Alloy. He does not want to get into a protracted close combat fight. And he's going to fire a shot. So these crossbows are pretty tasty. They're a ranged weapon with 2 shots over 20-inch range. And because this is a ranged attack, what I will need to do is to go against Alloy's dexterity. So I need to roll higher than his dexterity, which currently is a 6. So we'll see how we do. We get a 6, which is not technically higher, but we do get a 1, which would be a critical fail. So actually, this guy has missed both his shots. They've kind of had a little bit of a fail at each other, and the panic of Alloy's knife has kind of made him just like shoot out in the air past his ear. But we'll take it. Alloy's a lucky boy. Over to me then, and I'm very worried about this big scary demon. So Hearth is going to go. She is going to move herself just into cover here. And she's going to attempt to protect Anvil by casting a power. Now, because we've got these swirling energies around this very apt site, I only need to not roll a 10 here. Get a 2, being successful, lovely. So that will increase his save by +2 until her next activation. Back to the bandits, and Alloy's going to continue to have to deal with some crossbow bolts. This guy's going to take advantage and fire 2 shots into him as well without having to move, so it means he can aim. We're just going to add +2 to these rolls. Remember, I need to beat Alloy's dexterity of 6. We get 3 up to 5 and 2 up to 4. Still no. What's Alloy doing? He's like ducking and dodging. Is he weaving? Is he coming in? It's not working. It's not working. This bandit's just going to grunt in anger. On to Best Girl Cinder then, and we're going to take advantage of our new use of a command token. So she is going to walk herself just into cover here. I'm going to use my command token to get a bonus action in which she is going to aim, and then she's going to see if her crossbow is a little bit better than these guys. So now she's going to fire her shot into this guy who is on a dexterity of 4. So 2 and above, and I will hit. And let's not forget she's piercing. So if she hits a 9 or a 10, she does additional pain to them. They have to kind of reduce their saves. Let's see how she does. We get a 6 and a 9. That is 2 successes. And as I said, with piercing, it's -1 save for that shot. So this guy's going to have 2 saves he needs to make. His save is a 3, so he will need to roll that or below, but he'll actually need 2 or below on one of these to save the one that's been piercing. So he does get the 2, so he does cancel this one away, but unfortunately the 8 does not block this one. So he does gain a wound, and we have to see if he gets an injury. So this is a piercing weapon. What do we get? We get an 8 there, which is going to be agony, and this is the vile one, which means when he starts his activation, he has to do a willpower check. Otherwise, he just can't do any actions. I suppose we better go with this bandit then. So we'll see if he passes his willpower check. They have a willpower 5, so 50-50. He gets a 1. He's massively successful. He cares not for this agony, so he is able to shake this off. And he is going to try and see if he can attack Cinder. Now, these guys are programmed to try and see if they can reduce the cover. So at the moment, she's like 50% obscured, so she's adding 1 to her save. So he's simply going to move around the back of this rock here and then fire a shot. So he's not getting his aim, but he is getting a clearer opportunity to do some damage. So he needs to beat Cinder's dexterity of a 6. See how he does. He gets a 5 and a 3. Wow, their shooting is terrible. They are unable to hit anything at the moment. But Cinder's smiling. Her crossbow works at least. Well, I think luck is on my side, so I'm going to absolutely push it as far as I can at the moment. So we're going to go with Anvil now that he is suitably geared up. First action he's going to take, he's going to move his 6 inches to this position here. We're going to face off against this big, angry demon. I feel like we have to get that off the board as quick as we can. So I'm going to attempt to charge, and as you can see, there's 5 inches between us, so I need a 5 or more to be able to get in. We get a 1. That's a critical fail. So he will stumble as he kind of locks eyes with this demon and just stay frozen there, paralyzed in fear, but luckily hunkering down beneath his big shield. So perhaps sensing the fear in Anvil's eyes or just seeing an opportunity to protect the prize that he's reaping in cast, this big bad demon's going to go. So these are horrendously strong. They're really good. So he has move of 6 inches. So you can't quite get within the back arc here. He's going to move to just outside of 2, and he's going to attempt to see if he can charge into Anvil now, make an example of him. So we get 4, we get in there. So we're going to barrel in, and these two are going to turn and face. And yeah, the demons have a base stat of 3 on the attack, which would go up for charging, and they have fight skill 5, which is pretty beastly against Anvil, who's fight skill 6. So there's a chance here. So we need to roll within our attacks. The demon will go first. Needs to roll under 4. Oh, okay, the low dice are definitely paying up here. That's 4 successes there. Anvil, fight skill 6, come on. It's a 1, which is going to be a critical success. Okay, and 2 4s. So they've actually hit each other the same amount of times, which is pretty tasty. So let's go with the demon first. Now, obviously, these guys are armed, so any wound going through is going to be nasty. So Anvil's going to try and save this. Now, he did pick up his Uan armor last time, which means his save is innately 5. Because he's shielded, it's up to 7, because it's +2. And he's near half, so I think his save is 8, which in brutality terms is crazy high. So as long as I can roll within this, I should be okay. Let's see if we can tank some of these hits. We get, all of them just about get there. So Anvil is safe thanks to his just stupidly big shield protecting him and Hearth casting that spell. Can he do it? Can he hurt the demon? Is that a thing that can happen? Right. The demon's save is a 4. See how Anvil does with his attacks. We get critical success here, so that will convert one of these over. But we do get 1 fail, so Anvil is able to do a wound to it, and obviously he is armed, so let's see what he's able to do with his crushing Hammer of Doom. He gets a 1, which of course is nothing. Now it's worth me saying, because we'll see a few instances of this, demons also have the ability to be toxic, burning, or poisonous. So I'm going to say poisonous because we've got a guy with a big flaming sword over here. I don't want to confuse tokens, which basically means that any time an enemy model ends in base contact with it, they gain a token. And that will affect Anvil's next activation, where if he can't shake that condition, he will take a damage when he activates. So it will whittle him over time for each one that he gains. But that is an incredibly good stalwart defense by Anvil there as the demon has barreled into him. Right, our confidence is up now. We're going to absolutely go for it. So Furnace is going to step up. Now, he is in the rear arc of this enemy here, this big, scary demon that's just, like, smashed Anvil away like he was nothing, even though Anvil's made to, like, crush his finger. So Furnace is going to try and, like, ever so slightly, like, you know, Elmer Fudd tiptoe around the back, and he's going to try and charge the demon in the back. So let's see what we get. We get a 6. We are successful. So I'm going to charge into its rear arc. Now, naturally, it will turn and face. Now, weird things happen here. I have a burning weapon, but it's still kind of toxic and poisonous. So we both gain a status condition. And Furnace is then going to make his strike. So he has got 2 attacks normally, up to 3, because he is the person who is charging. He's on +2 to his fight skill. So he's on fight skill 9 for this, because he's attacking in the rear arc. Demon, again, has got 3. So Furnace, let's see if we can set the pace. Anything that's not a 10. Of course, we get a 10 there, but we do get 2 successes. And then the demon, looking for anything 5 or below, gets 1 miss as well, and 2 successes. Okay, that is relatively even so far. So let's see what the demon's attack does. So Furnace ordinarily has a save of 4, but because of teamwork, I am near Anvil and his big scary shield, so I need to roll a 5 or less to kind of dodge these hits. See how we do. We get a 1, which is a critical success, and we get a 10, which is a critical fail. So actually the critical fail is just a fail no matter what, but the critical success does count as 2 successes, so I do block those. That's really good. These dice are helping me out. The demon, on the other hand, has a save of a 4+. Let's see what it can do. It has 1 success and 1 fail, so it's going to take an additional wound, and we'll see what type of damage it takes from his armed piercing weapon. We get another 1, which is nothing. So that is just going to be a wound, and we're going to push the demon back and just kind of push it towards cast here as Furnace kind of barrels in with the leadership cry. So that is all the Oathsworn out of the way. So now we're on to the remainder of these bandits. We're going to do these activations back to back. This first guy is just going to walk into cover here, and he's going to attempt to fire a shot into Hearth to stop her from casting all these helpful spells. He's got his 2 shots. He's looking to score above her dexterity, which is a 4. He has critically failed with 1, but he has succeeded with the other. Hearth has got kind of partial cover, we could say here. So she would kind of be a little bit harder to hit, but that's still going to go through. And now she needs to make a save against this. So her save is usually a 3+. It will go up to a 4 because Anvil is nearby and we have some teamwork. Can she roll it? She gets a 6. No, so she is going to take a wound, and we'll have to see what she gets on the injury table. So this is a piercing weapon. We get a 4. Now, luckily, Hearth is sturdy, so it means on rolls of 1 to 4, she ignores it. So she's relatively happy there, despite the injury that she has taken. We've got this other archer here. She's going to go. She's just going to move here. I mean, Alloy's really not liking the fact there's 3 crossbowmen on that side of the battlefield, but she's going to try and take a shot into Furnace. It's the same again. 2 shots trying to beat his dexterity value, which is a 5. She gets a 10 and a 5. That is a critical success, that 10. So the 5 doesn't succeed because it has to beat it, but this will count as 2 successes. So Furnace will have to roll 2 saves. He has got a save of 4 up to 5 because of friends nearby. He gets 2 6s. He misses both. That means he's going to take 2 wounds. Ouch, that's going to really hurt him. And then we'll see what injuries he gets. So this is again piercing weapon. We get a 2 and a 4. 2 is disarmed, which will make him drop his weapon, so he'll have to pick it up if he wants to do anything useful. And then 4 is skewered, which is -2 to his dexterity. So that was a horrendous double whammy to hit him, and he's only got 1 wound remaining after this, so that's looking really dire for him. And with that, it'll take us to the end of the turn. And this is the picture at the end of the first turn going into the second, and it's not looking good for Furnace. There's been some big, meaty crossbow bolts that have gone in to kind of end that turn. And we're not any closer to getting to cast. We have to wipe out this demon, but he's got 6 wounds. We've done 2 so far. It's going to be a long slog to try and deal with him, let alone these archers that are pretty beefy themselves. So as you can see, I've left the dice on the board. I've rolled for the random event for this turn. It might help, it might hinder. We got Squalls, which says the wind has picked up, giving all ranged attacks -2 to hit during this game turn. So it might mean these crossbow bolts fling past a little bit more than they would normally. But the downside for me is the bandits and the demon are going to have the first activation this turn. And I think it's very likely we might see a model removed. So let's get into that. Well, yep, as you might expect, we're going to start with the Greater Demon, and it's going to see if it can finish the job on Furnace. Now, because it is burning, we do need to see if it can shake off this damage. So when you're burning or poisoning or anything like that, you roll a d10 for each token you have. On a natural roll of a 2 or 9, you remove the token. However, on a 1 or 10, you immediately suffer a damage and you don't remove it. So let's see what he gets. He gets a 10. He takes the damage. He takes the damage. Furnace's last act by setting his pants on fire is halving his wounds. We've halved it. Oh, there's so much more to go. Anyway, he is going to try and charge into Furnace because he's by far and away the weakest target. We need anything that isn't a 1. We're rolling 10s all day here, so we're going to barrel into Furnace here. And they're going to make their attacks. Now, both of these have came in contact with each other, so again, they're going to get another burning and a poison in a second, but we'll just get the melee out of the way to start with. So, the Greater Demon has 3 attacks up to 4 because it is the attacker at fight skill 5. Furnace, even though he's disarmed, he can make normal attacks, he just can't count as armed, as in doing wound rolls for the damage table, to give them kind of negative modifiers. So he's on his normal attack of 2 at fight skill 7. So let's go to the Demon. The Demon gets 2 misses, and the Furnace gets 2 7s, which conveniently is his fight skill. So they both hit twice, because these will miss for the Demon. Okay, let's do saves then. So Furnace is going to need to see if he's going to need to save both of these, isn't he? So his save is 4 up to 5 because he is near some allies. See how he does. Oh, the 9 screws him. The 9 screws him. He's going to die. Right, so that's painful. So he will take that wound. The Demon, on the other hand, has a save of 4 and makes both of them because, of course, it does. It's a demon. It cares not, and it's feeding off the pain it's causing as it just obliterates our leader and his command token off the board. And with that, the bandits are up 3 VP with that brutal kill. And I think losing Furnace, even though death isn't the end in the brutality, it's definitely going to be feel at the end at the moment. So we're going to try and see if we can play the AI a little bit and try and give them something else to worry about rather than just smashing through my front line. So we're going to go with Alloy. He is going to sprint 10 inches to this position here, staying outside of 2 inches of both of these guys. But if you notice, I can get in the rear arc. Presuming I make this charge, I'm going to attempt to try and see if I can stab this guy in the back. We move 7 inches, we're more than happy. So I'm going to get into the rear arc there as he will turn and face. So that will increase my fight skill from 7 up to 9 against the bandit who is on a fight skill of 6. We get, just as well I increased it. So a 9, a 2, those are 2 successes, but the bandit gets a 7 and misses. So Alloy has got 2 hits going through so far. The bandits have 4 HP with their buffed amounts. This isn't going to kill him, but we'll see if he can save it. So he's got a save of 3. He gets a critical success and a 3. He tanks both of those hits and cares not, as he's just simply shunted away as he blocks the damage with his crossbow. And that is Alloy all done. And that's certainly drawn the ire of these bandits. This guy is going to turn around. He's simply going to aim to add 2 to his rolls. He's going to fire crossbow bolts into Alloy. So this is looking to beat his dexterity of 6 with +2 to the rolls. Well, they're brutal in combat, but they just cannot shoot. And actually, they'd be -2 because there's skulls everywhere. So actually, it's a harder shot than I thought. But still, 2 2s, it misses. Alloy is just a ninja. Right, seriously, like rescuing cast is #1 priority. So Anvil's going to have to go. So we'll see if he can clear this poison. So we need a 2 to a 9. We get the 9, thank God. Right, so we don't take the damage there. So we'll remove this poison condition. And then I'm already in the rear arc pretty much. So I'm just going to move to there and try and charge in. We get a 10, we get all the charges in the world. So we're going to barrel into the back of the demon and reintroduce him to the shield. So Anvil will take a poison again because he's just ran into the big scary demon that's full of toxins, but not a concern at the moment. We get +2 to our fight skill. So our fight skill of 6 goes up to 8 versus the demon's 3 attacks that are at fight skill 5. We're on +1 because we are charging. So we have a 10, which is a critical fail, but we have 2 successes which go through there. The demon has 3 successes. The demon's just an absolute beast in combat, isn't it? So we'll do saves first. Let's try and see how we do. So Anvil is currently on 5 for his save, 6, 7, 8 because half is nearby. So we should be okay. We should be okay. Oh, thank God, right, we are. So we save all of those hits. The demon, on the other hand, has a save of 4. See how he does. He saves both as well. Well, stalemate it is. I see you've played this game before, Mr. Demon, and we just shunned him back. But we just need to try and clear space that we can actually get to cast. That's the priority. But no damage dealt there, despite Anvil tanking the demon. Back to this wounded bandit over here then. He's going to try and see if he can offset the squalls of birds by aiming and taking a shot into Cinder. So needing to beat her dexterity of 6. We get a 10, which is a success, and a 4. Let me just double check if there's crit successes on ranged attacks. There absolutely are. So that will actually be 2 successes that go through against Cinder. So she's, I don't know if she is in partial cover. I think she's in normal cover at the moment. So no cover at the moment. So she's got a save of 3. See if she blocks these. She gets a critical success as well, just as well. So she blocks both of those, takes no damage there. So the birds are getting in the way, and even when a shot does go through, it's pinging off our tanky armor. Well, I think Cinder's going to do some shooting as well. She is just going to turn a little bit and aim to shoot at the demon. Now, the demon has insane dexterity of 7, and obviously we're at -2 because of the school, so I'm going to aim this shot. And yeah, it needs to have an 8, a 9, or a 10 for this to go through, so let's see how we do. Well, okay. Okay, Cinder, so that's a critical success and a 9. So that's 3 hits into the... Oh, if she kills it now. Cinder is MVP already. Right, 3 saves the demon needs to make. It is a save of 4+, but I do get piercing, which means if I roll a natural 9 or 10, the target suffers -1 to its save. So basically it's going to need to make 3 saves at a save of 3. That will make sense. Right, let's see how it does. Right, okay. I thought I had it then. It makes 1. But 2 damage goes through, so it takes 2 more wounds. It's got 1 left. If this was normal HP, it'd be dead. Goddamn tanky demon eating all of cast life force. But it also gains 2 injuries as well. So let's see. This is a piercing weapon. I can't believe Cinder's just done that. We get a 4 and an 8. So this would be skewered -2 dexterity. That's going to help a lot. And an 8, which is agony. Yes, we give it pain. You will feel my pain. You'll feel Furnace's pain. And yeah, right. You did good, Cinder. You're the leader now. Back over on the slightly less chaotic side of the board, we're going to go with this guy. Now, ordinarily, their AI would be to kind of move back and shoot, but because these schools and they're missing a lot, I think he's actually going to attempt to try and see if he can get into alloying melee. So I'm going to move around to here, and then I'm going to attempt to charge the boy. Let's see what we get. We get a 10. Loves it, right? Barrels into the back. And even though these guys are unarmed, they can't do wound rolls in terms of doing extra status damage. They are fight skill 6, so we're up to fight skill 8 here as we attack Alloy with 2 attacks, because we're the attacker versus his 1 at fight skill of, what was it again, 7. So Alloy gets a 10, which fails. Oh god, even in combat. These guys at fight skill 6 up to fight skill 8, of course, what they rolled 2 9s. So they just dance around each other as he flits away. So that just leaves me with Hearth, and her activation is going to be really easy. I want her to be within 6 inches of cast, so hopefully we can kind of get close to helping her. And then we're just going to see if we can cast our power. So this shielded will drop off Anvil, but we get to try and cast all of our power. So we're going to try and cast Protect and Healing. So all we need to do is try and roll underneath our willpower of 7. We get a 1, we get a critical success. Lovely. Okay, because of Protect, obviously our shielded goes on, we get +2 to our save. And Healing either has a range or an up-close 1-inch version. The 1-inch version is basically heal HP, but you also clear conditions. So I'm going to clear that from Anvil, just so he does not take a damage when he activates next. And that is Hearth done. So that just leaves us with these 2 bandits in the center, and they're just going to try and pepper as many shots as they can into Anvil, because he's kind of blocking shots that will go into Hearth and giving her bonuses. So we're going to roll this all together. So they are going to both aim. They're both going to shoot at him. So their normal stat of, his normal stat of a dexterity of 5. They're on +2 to these rolls. Let's see what they get. They get, wow, okay, 1 is critical fail. 4 will go up to 6 to be a success. However, both these criticals will turn into 2 successes as well. So that is 5 hits going through into Anvil currently, which, yeah, that's definitely a thing. So let's see if he can save them. So he has a save of 5, up to 7, up to 8, because Hearth is nearby. See what he gets. Right, so we have got 2 9s, which are fails, but we have got 3 successes there. So he will take 2 damage, which will knock him down, you've guessed it, to 1 HP all over again. Oh, we'll see what damage he takes from these attacks. A 1 and an 8. Now he's sturdy, so the 1 will mean nothing, but piercing on an 8 is agony, so he's going to have to pass a willpower duel if he can do anything next round. So brutal round shooting again to finish the turn. And at the midway point in the game, the bandits are up 3-0. And yeah, losing Furnace and an activation is a big swing when they've already got the numbers on you, which means my priority now needs to be to try and free cast. Even though she's a basic model when she is out, she is going to help me even up that numbers game. So I have first activation of this round. I'm not sure who's going to go, but I have got a benefit here where I've rolled the random event and I got 23, which was recovering. So it says a player model of your choice can immediately remove 1 status effect or negative stat modifier. And Anvil, very, very simply, removed his agony. He just felt better all of a sudden. So it means I'm not having to try and pass that willpower duel, because he's absolutely probably going to be the one that goes first as we go into turn 3. Okay, first activation of this turn. Now I'm going to take quite a big risk here. I know the demon has to activate first for the enemy because it's most likely to die, and it's also most likely to score points because it can just rinse Anvil. It's on 2 burning and agony, so either it will freeze and not be able to move because of the agony if it fails that, or more importantly, if it cannot clear one of those burning, it will just take a damage and die, and, you know, Furnace sacrifice will be worth it. So I'm going to risk it on the dice because they've not rolled particularly well so far. So I'm just gonna walk away. Just don't mind me, Mr. Demon. Don't mind me on my 1 HP. I'm just going to walk here and I'm going to try and smash this person in the face. So my hope is that if this dies, then Hearth just walks up and gets Cinder free. So Anvil's going to attempt to charge this poor crossbow person. He gets all of it. He is going to smash her in the face with his shield. And yeah, we're going to throw some attacks. So we are 2 attacks up to 3 at fight skill 6 versus 1 opposing attack also at fight skill 6. And we'll see how we do. Right, so Anvil gets a critical fail and a miss, but the bandit and he both gained 1 success each. So we'll see if Anvil can save his. He is currently at save of 8 because there's an ally nearby and he's still shielded. He blocks it. The bandit, on the other hand, needs to make a save of a 3. She gets a 6, so she fails. So she will take a wound and she will also take an injury roll. Now this is crushing damage. Let's see what he gets. He gets, cock dice there, let's try again. He gets a 4. That is going to be broken ribs. That's -2 dexterity to that young lady. He would push her back, but she can't really be pushed back any further into the ruin, so he's just going to make way a little bit that way, just to allow her a bit of space, but also keep himself near Alloy. The Greater Demon then on 1 solitary wound left with 2 burning tokens thanks to Furnace. It has got a willpower of 7, which we'll deal with it in a second if it's trying to get rid of this agony, but we need to see if it can clear these burning tokens, otherwise it'll take damage and die. So anything that isn't a 1 or a 10, it's fine, otherwise it's dead. Yes! Yes! He's dead. I mean, he's only worth 1 VP for me, but we've killed the Greater Demon. The burning whittles him away, and Furnace's last act is worth it, and that's a big activation to take off the board. Okay, absolutely critical activation here. Now we've got some points on the board. Hearth is going to go. She is going to move herself over to here, and she's going to attempt to help Cast escape her binds by searching. So anything other than a 1 or a 10 is all good. We're outside of 6 inches of this one. We're outside of 6 here. We get a 7, we get a 7, we're good. Right, so Cast is freed from her bind. She's going to pop herself just over here, so she is free to move now. And yeah, that gets another VP, because technically I've searched some treasure, and I'll get a treasure token to put there, because we can continue to search it if we want to. The tide is turning. I can feel it. So this guy's going to go. He is going to continue to back away from Alloy. He's going to go just behind the cover here, and he's going to fire 2 shots into him. So we're looking to beat Alloy's dexterity of a 6. Luckily, there's no birds in the way now. We get an 8 and we get a 5. So the 5 misses, but the 8 will go through, which means Alloy will need to make a save. His save is usually 3, but he is now near a buddy, so it's 4. Can he save it? He gets a 1. That is a critical success. He can't be hit with these arrows, just cannot be contained. And he's going to introduce that guy to some daggers in a second, I think. So Cast then, she is absolutely furious now that she is being kind of tormented and tortured, and she's pleased to see that that demon has died, so it can't leech off her life energies for Ishtar anymore. She's going to get stuck in, so she's basically an entry-level fast model. She's got exactly the same profile that Alloy had in the previous game. So she's moved 10, she's just going to run over to here, and she's going to see if she can kind of gank this archer. So let's see if we can charge him. We get a 5, we get in there, and she's going to introduce her to her kind of buckler shield. So we have 2 attacks at fight skill 6 versus the 1 attack of the bandit also at fight skill 6. We'll see how we do. We get a 6 there and a 9, which misses, but the bandit is able to succeed. So let's see if we can make some saves. So Cast is save 3 normally, next to 4, because she's near Anvil. She gets a 2, she saves it. The bandit, on the other hand, is a save of 3. It gets an 8, so he fails, so he will take a point of damage, or she will take a point of damage again. And what are we going to say this is? Is this piercing or crushing? I mean, she's got like sharpened shields. Let's call it crushing. She's near Anvil. She just smacks someone in the nose with it. So she gets a 3, which is going to be a broken hand, which is -1 fighting skill. This lady's been in the wars here. And that means we're just going to clear a little bit of space. Still needing to whittle wounds down, though. These guys having 4 HP is incredibly tanky, but we might get lucky going into the last turn. Right, this bandit, like a cornered animal then, is just going to fight, and she's going to try and take an aim and fire 2 shots into Anvil, who has a dexterity of 5. She gets an 8 and a 6. She smashes it, so he has got a save of, what do we say this was, like 8, I think it is, with allies nearby. Can he block any of these? Otherwise, 1 damage is going to kill him. Oh, he gets an 8, but he also gets a 9. That's going to be enough to wipe him out. He'll take his last point of damage, and he's going to be racking up the insanity points as he is blown away, and she gets some level of recompense and secures another 3 victory points. The bandit's going to be very hard to beat their score. Yeah, we really are chasing victory points here. So Alloy can't research anything because there's guys within 6 here. So he's going to bow around the back and try and charge into the back of this guy that he's been dueling with all game. Let's see what we get. We get 10. We absolutely barrel in. So they will turn and phase, but I'm up to fight skill 9 now on my 2 attacks. versus this guy's fight skill of 6. We get a critical fail again, not getting these attacks to go through, but they have both managed to hit each other. So Alloy has got a save of 3 up to 4 because there is cast nearby. He gets a 5, so he will take a point of damage, but these guys are unarmed, so no need to roll a wound. Will he be able to hurt this person back on a 3 save? They get a 5, they take a point of damage as well, and Alloy is armed, so let's see what kind of damage he does on his piercing attack. He gets, just under the tree there, a 7. 7 is blinded, which is pretty tasty. It means that they can't really do any other actions apart from just moving for their next activation, which is really tasty, and we'll just push them back to here. Interesting rule we've not encountered yet. Bandits, basically, if they do more unsaved damage than your opponent in melee, they like steal a goal and like make you disarm. They like nick your weapon off you. So just as well that we've got a mainly shooting foe that we're against, otherwise that could be really messy. Okay, so picking up where we left off, this bandit is going to go. They're going to walk around here to try and take the cover away from Alloy and fire some shots against his dexterity of a 6. See how they do. They get two ones, 2 critical fails. Surprisingly, they can't shoot Alloy, and that's that guy activated. Last activation for me, and on this side of the board, we're going to continue to whittle. So Cinder is going to move herself over to this piece of cover here, staying within 4 of Hearth, and she's going to take a wide open shot at this guy with his dexterity of 4. So we get a 4, which is not successful because we have to beat it, but we do get a 7, which is a hit. This guy has a save of 3. He gets a 9. He does not save it, so he will take a point of damage. And from her piercing attack, we get a 5, which will be slashed, which is -2 to his fighting skill, which isn't going to affect his shooting ability, but it might be handy later on in combat. So once again, that leaves us with 2 archers who are able to shoot us with impunity. This guy is going to move his way around to here to start with, and this one is going to just take aim, and they're both going to try and shoot at Hearth. So the guy who moved needs to beat her dexterity of 4. Which he doesn't with this one, but does with this 9. The guy who aimed needs to beat it, but he gets +2 to his rolls, and he gets 2 successes there as well. So it's 3 successes going through against poor old Hearth. She has got a save of 3 up to 4 because Cinder is nearby, so we'll see how many she saves. She saves all of the wow, just catches the bolts in her teeth, does the old bird. She's well practiced there. And takes no damage, which is a fantastic way to end the turn as things are starting to swing back as we go towards the final round. And this is the picture as we end the 3rd turn and go into the final 4th turn. And yeah, by my reckoning, I think it's about 6-2 in favour of the Bandits. I don't think I'm going to be able to catch up with their score, but we're going to give it a really good go. And we've obviously secured our primary goal, which was to get cast free, and taking the demon off through just furnaces burning his last act was fantastic. You can see by the dice that I've rolled, those pesky birds are backed. We've got squalls, so I think the melee actions of these bandits might be called in now, seeing as their shots might be missing even more than they were against Alloy in particular. And they have the first activation as we go into the final turn. Right, we're going to start with the cornered bandit, as we'll call her. She is going to move now because she wants to deny my ability to score this centre objective. Otherwise, Hearth just sits there and easily scores it. So she's going to move over to this position, and she is going to try and pop a shot, probably at Hearth, seeing as she's already been injured. So we've got 2 shots looking to beat Hearth's dexterity of 4. We get a 7 and a 5. They have both been successful. Can Hearth save them? So she has a save of 3 up to 4 because of Cinder. We get 2 7s. That's 2 fails, and Hearth only has 3 HP. She will be removed from the board. That's a big kill. This girl has done really well. We should hire her for our crew. She's eliminated 2 people despite the fact that she has been on death's door, and that will take them to 9 points, which I think is pretty unassailable at this stage. So almost in panic of realising what will happen if she gets captured again here as the tide is turning back and forth. Cast is going to go. She's going to sprint round the back of this girl, and she's going to try and see if she can finish her off. So we're going to charge in. We move 4 inches. We get there. And that'll add 2 to our fight skill versus this girl who's quite injured. She's on -1 fight skill because I think we crushed her arm. So she's like fight skill 5 on 1 attack. We are up to fight skill 8 on 2. So we get a 7 and a 6. We've been successful. She gets a 9, so she has missed that. So her save is of a 3+. We could do both of these going through to kill her. So let's see what we get. We get a 6 and 8, right? We do the job that eliminates this girl, valiant as she was, and it'll get us a VP back. But more importantly for Cast, it means that she's got an opportunity now to get away from the enemy, so she is not captured for another day of suffering. Okay, next closest to death is this blinded fighter, so I'm just going to roll a d10, see which way he moves his 6-inch walk, because he can't really see where he's going. He's going to move towards Alloy. That's lovely. So we can't end within 2 of him, but he's just going to... Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. I can't see him. Trying to get this eyelash out of my eye, and he like clatters into a tree as he goes past. But he will clear that condition at the end of his activation. Unfortunately for that guy, though, it does mean he has just walked straight out into the open where Cinder can shoot him. So she is just going to take an aimed shot to his face. So she's on +2 to beat his dexterity of 4. She gets a 4 and a 6. That is 2 successes. He has 2 saves left. He has got 2 wounds left, actually, and 2 saves of a 3. Let's see how he does. 2 10s, he fails miserably. He clears his eyelash just at the last second to see a crossbow bolt replace the eyelash in his eye socket with pain and death. So that will be the end of Cinder's activation and get us another VP. Now you may have noticed that I've put Hearth back down. It's because with shooting with Cinder there, I realised that the squalls are in play, aren't they? So one of those hits from that cornered bandit would have actually missed on the -2. It might not matter in a second because this guy's going to go, he's going to take an aim shot into her, so it'll offset the squalls. We just need to beat a dexterity of a 4. We get 1 miss, but we do get a 5, which is successful. Can Hearth save it and stay alive? She's got a save of 3 up to 4. She gets a 9. No, so she does die. It just dies moments later than when she originally was going to. So it seems that we're just left with our young guns now. All the older generation's been wiped out. So we're going to go with Alloy. He is going to move a mighty 10 inches around here, just staying outside of 2. And he's going to attempt to charge and backstab this guy. See if we can get him. We can on a 4, so that'll increase our fight skill to 9. And this guy's on -2, so he's down to 4. So 2 attacks to his 1. Let's see how we do. Crit fail there, but this guy does fail because he has been injured, so he's on -2. So we just get 1 success going through. See if this guy can save it on a 3. He gets a 5. He takes a 2nd wound, and we'll see what damage we are able to do to him. Piercing is a 6. Laceration -2 to his movement, but I think he's just going to try and probably stand and bang or shoot back afterwards. We'll see how that goes. So I feel at this stage these 2 crews should probably just stop and like talk this through because there's not many of them left on either side. So this guy's going to go, he's going to walk into cover here and he's just going to try and pop a shot into Cinder. So this is 2 shots trying to beat her dexterity of a 6. He gets 2 3s. He's not been able to hit anything all game, so he has missed with both of those. And we'll go to their last activation now. And that takes us to the last activation of the game, which is going to be this guy who's been absolutely bruised and battered. He's going to see if he can hit the unhittable in Alloy. So there's some birds flying around, so I'm going to aim, and I need to beat the dexterity of Alloy here. I say I don't want him to win, I want him to miss. So let's see if we can beat a 6. A 2 and a 7. All right, so 1 has missed. 1 has actually hit Alloy for once. That makes a nice change. Alloy has got a save of a 3+. He gets a 6. He fails, so he would take a point of damage. Luckily, it doesn't kill him, but he's going to have to really quickly get out of there later. And he would take a wound, and let's see what he gets. This will be piercing damage. He gets a 9, which would be bleeding, so he would lose a HP at the start of his next activation, but luckily it's the end of the game, so he's not going to bleed out, but that will take us to the end, so we'll count it all up and summarise. And this is the picture at the end of the game, and by my reckoning it's about 9 points to 4 in favour of these bandits whose den we have raided, but we have secured our main objective, which was to free Cinder. Cast. Testing. And here we are at the end of the 4th turn and the game. And by my reckoning, it's about 9 points to 4 in favour of these heinous bandits who captured Cass. But we have succeeded in our primary goal of freeing her. But it has came at the cost of many of our Oathsworn's lives, who will now respawn the next day back at base. So it's up to Cinder, Alloy and Cass now to run away so they can't be captured before the day ends and they end up stuck here in an endless loop. So bitter defeat against, definitely more superior enemies this time. I think I said in the last one that it was very easy last time and I was going to ramp it up, and it definitely was. That demon hit like a ton of bricks. But really interesting about kind of like ignoring the treasure and trying to get the kills and whittle down numbers. So thoroughly enjoyed that. So I'll go to the post game and we'll see what happens now in the home phase. Okay, so despite some brutal losses, we have been able to at least learn from our experiences and gain some positive value. So everyone has rested after this game to clear all negative conditions. I didn't want to do any explorations or risk it this time. You gain experience, if you remember, for kills, scoring VP, surviving the battle, if you're the leader, all manner of stuff. So at the end of the game, Cinder, best girl, has managed to level up. She's up to level 2, which has improved her dexterity by 1. Furnace, I've given him the kill on the demon. I'm not sure whether I should, but he burned it to death even after he died. So he's leveled up. He's up to level 4, which has improved his passive of inspiring, so it makes it a bit easier to roll. Caster's leveled up. She's up to level 1, so she's away from just being a random fast model now. She's gained a passive, which is surveying, which will help explore chart rolls in future games. Alloy, if you remember, had the perk Quick Learning, and that's pushed him all the way up to level 3. So he's gained a new class, which is Ambusher, which allows him now to basically sneak attack an enemy at the start of the game, which is fantastic. I look forward to seeing that in the next one. As I said, everyone rested, and then we rolled our passives. And these passives, sometimes they go well, sometimes they don't. Furnace has used Inspiring to remove 1 insanity point from Anvil. So Furnace has got 1, Anvil's got 1, Hearth has 2. Problems really start to occur 3 and upwards. That's when you have to start rolling to see if people go mad or start getting negative modifiers. Cinder didn't get any bonus XP from her kill, which is not the end of the world. She's still leveled up. And of course, Hearth failed to make a healing potion, which would have been pretty handy in that battle. So that is everything completed in the home phase. We'll close out this battle report and we'll get ready for the next one. And that was our game. Well, that didn't go well in terms of the score, but it did go well in the fact that we saved Cass. So swings and roundabouts. We've not gained any blessings from Ishtar, but we have managed to kind of get a new person and avoid that torment. You know, it's horrible in this brutal realm of like, you know, getting captured and then respawning to be tortured and used again and again and again. It's such an evocative setting. I really, really enjoy it. So yeah, I think we've probably got one more campaign game left to go. I'm going to try and do maybe a boss battle. There's a really cool scenario. We have to like destroy nodes to defeat the boss. So I think we might give that one a go, but we'll see what comes up between now and then. Hope you enjoyed this game. As always, let me know in the comments below what you thought, and hopefully you guys might be considering picking this up. It's a really, really fun game. And as I said in my first playthrough, I think it's rapidly becoming, or if not already is, my favorite kind of single player way of playing miniature war games and skirmish games. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Hi guys, and thank you so much for watching our videos. It means the world to us. If you want to see some more, they should be over here. If you want to support this channel, keep these lights on. You can find links to our Patreon and merchandise in the description below. Take care.